good afternoon or good evening, depending on the time you watch this video. And konnichiwa, cześć, or guten tag, depending on the country you watch this video in. With this video, we want to inform you about the interesting and inspiring workshops presented to you at EuroMaintenance 2021, the largest European Congress on maintenance to be held in Rotterdam in the Netherlands next year. These workshops relate to the central themes of the Congress: human factor, sustainability, smart industry, safety, and asset performance management. Today's topic, asset performance management. To give you an insight on what to expect on this topic, we invited 3 experts to share their knowledge with you. On this roundtable, we have Eduardo Calixto. He is asset management manager and RAMS expert and founder of ECC, which stands for Eduardo Calixto Consultant. And he's a member of the safety group at EFNMS. And we have Chris Rijsdijk. He is board member at NVDO, which is the Dutch Maintenance Society, of course. And he is member of the benchmarking committee at EFNMS and university teacher at the Netherlands Defense Academy. And final, we have Remco Jonker. He is partner at Mainnovation. It's a consultancy firm of maintenance and asset management. And Remco is also chairman of the NVDO section Food and Beverages and Pharma. Welcome to you all. My name is Laura van der Linde, and I work at Mainnovation as well. So Remco is my colleague, and I am marketing and communications coordinator at this beautiful company. So today's topic, asset performance management, and there is a lot to talk about because it's a very broad topic. But I wanted to start with a statement to have a little focus on the topic. And the statement is, asset performance management is all about creating maximum value to the assets. Chris, can you respond to that?
Well, I guess you made a very valid statement, because if you drill down into the standards, you beautifully rephrased actually the definition of asset management. And having seen the contributions to this section in the EuroMaintenance track, I guess it is a very important issue in all the contributions that I have previewed.
Exactly. And Remco, it is of course a statement you can relate to, because you are also a co-writer of the book VDM-XL, which stands for Value-Driven Maintenance and Asset Management.
Yes, value-driven maintenance and asset management, and the XL stands for extended life or lifetime extension. And in fact, from our perspective, we think that asset management and maintenance can create value in 4 ways, either through asset utilization, meaning increasing reliability or technical availability, on one hand. On the other hand, reducing maintenance cost. The third topic to create value is complying better to legislation and reducing the license to operate risk that you will lose it through a safety, health, environmental and quality risk management check. And the fourth element, the fourth value driver, as we call it, it's all about capital allocation, meaning that the lifetime extension investments and also the replacements are in balance also with the OPEX cost, the maintenance cost, making sure that you keep the plant young and juvenile.
Exactly. Eduardo, you hear a lot about value, and of course value you can translate into euros or other value, what's it called? But can you relate to this? Is this something you are working with as well?
Yeah, as our colleagues Chris and Remco stated, what is asset management is defined as the asset management defined is already in the ISO 55000, and the value concept is already there and stated, and the value for stakeholders as well as for internal clients and external clients. Internal clients are the people that work with the physical asset. One of the very important aspect that we did not comment here so far is that this value needs to be added since the concept phase, since the very beginning of the physical asset. And if you look on the standards, and I don't know your experience, but I'm quite sure that you have similar experience, that many discussion concerning asset management is focused on ISO 5000 and implementation certification. And these standards do not define how get value for physical assets, all the stakeholders, since the concept phase, going through the design phase, and then commissioning operational phase. So I think that's also a very important aspect when we discussion about create value, to consider the whole life cycle.
I would like to relate to that. Thank you very much, Eduardo, because I think, yes, ISO 55000 says everything about asset management and what needs to be done. For example, you need to measure performance indicators. And if we then look at value-driven maintenance, VDM Excel, that helps you to determine how it can be done. So that methodology describes these performance indicators you can use to close the plan, do, check, act circle. So there you see, let's say, the correspondence, or how ISO 55000 and VDM Excel in this case are integrated.
Yeah. And another perspective to Eduardo's comment, well, you could also transfer it to some sort of a life cycle approach, which requires an alignment between a variety of stakeholders, and particularly aligning is a very important aspect to make progress in asset management.
Okay, I see a lot of nodding going on, so everything is agreeing with one another. A very important part of this movie is also the introduction of the workshops to be held at EuroMaintenance. I told you about in the beginning, and we have several pitches ready, and I wanted to show you the first pitch.
Hello, my name is Egon Doyer, and I'm your workshop facilitator on rotating equipment performance. Rotating equipment performance is not about what SKF wants to sell to its customer. It's about what our customers ask from us. Rotating equipment performance is a value proposition to increase shareholder value and can bring the following benefits to you: improved output, reduced total cost of ownership, improved safety, reduced impact on the environment. When you realize these benefits in your company, then you increase shareholder value. Best-in-class companies have a high output and a low total cost of ownership. In our workshop, we help you identifying the gaps you have compared to best practices and start your journey towards better rotating equipment performance. Do you want to learn more on how SKF can help you to increase shareholder value? Then don't miss out on this opportunity. I look forward to see you. Thank you.
Workshop Maintenance within Asset Management is a product of European Asset Management Committee, which consists of well-known asset management and maintenance experts. The aim of the workshop is to clarify the correlation between the asset management and maintenance, which is in many cases still misunderstood and misaligned. Workshop is supported by ISO and EN standards, and especially maintenance within asset management, which is a missing bridge, and EFMNS Book of Knowledge as an additional source. Questions, answers, what is asset management and what is maintenance within asset management?
What is the best way to encourage maintenance managers to promote maintenance within asset management? To convince top management to listen to the technicians and invest in maintenance? Who should attend our workshop? Anyone who can influence decisions on physical asset solutions, on tactics, policies and maintenance processes, is willing to know the concept of the maintenance within asset management.
We are going to watch another video, and maybe this is more a topic with a more internal theme.
Hi, my name is Jurgen Bonders and I'm partner at Gordian Logistic Experts. We are a company that is specialized in spare parts management optimization. In our workshop, I will show you how you can improve service and cooperation between the warehouse and the technical department, and therefore prevent technicians having to postpone their work because required parts are not available. On the other hand, you will learn how you can reach this goal with less inventory in your warehouse. It's our experience at Gordian that managers are not enough aware that asset availability and total cost of ownership can be improved drastically by focusing on spare parts processes. So if you are an asset or maintenance manager, warehouse supervisor, work order or parts planner or maintenance engineer, grab this opportunity, join our workshop and become aware of the enormous improvement potential that is also available in your warehouse. See you then.
Eduardo, can you respond to this? He is saying that many managers are not even aware of the great potential that can be reached with professional spare part management. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. In practice, in many studies that I carry out concerning reliability of plants, I also including the spare parts. Spare parts is a challenge, and I had a chance to look specifically this video and look on their methodology. Yeah, I suggest to attend that because they have a very clear methodology to how to organize your spare part. That's not an easy task, and how to manage that. The other very important aspect is that we see in general, when people use the words optimization, what they really means. Because optimization mathematically means that you need to maximize performance. You have objective functions. For example, you want to maximize your operational availability or your production and minimize your life cycle costs, or both of them, subject to some restriction. And to do that, you need an algorithm to run that. And you need to collect all the information about spare parts, the impacts of maintenance and operational availability. And that is means of optimization. So just one remark, when we're discussing about maintenance optimization and spare part optimization, we need just to really understand if we are talking about about the concept of optimization. Of course, we need to, that is the second step. The first step is go through what our colleague proposed in our video. That's go through the whole process, how to organize and get all information about your spare parts. And that can really impact in the cost. I remember when I worked in refineries, the spare parts policy was very conservative because managers are always afraid that some equipment failed, that cause shut down their system, and because they do not have spare parts. Because of that, they start the operation with a high level of spare part, and that's around 30% of the total cost of the enterprise that they implement. So it's a real big issue. People need to look on it. And if you look, many organizations still have issues, and I suggest you to look on it, to attend this web seminar for sure.
I can imagine you also want to add to that you definitely need a tool to give to get insight to the costs and to all the possibilities where to create the value, right? Because that's a little bridge to our next video, and maybe you can guess what video I wanted to show you.
But is it possible to respond to what Eduardo was saying?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, he's saying that usually, and I see that too in my practical experience, that in a very reactive organization, the stock level value is very high. And in fact, they use it as a kind of insurance policy. So the more mature, oftentimes, a maintenance or asset management organization is, the less spares there are on stock. And the other thing that Jürgen said was quite interesting too in this workshop is make the connection between the technical organization and the warehouse. And for me, let's say, talking about putting spares on stock starts with reliability engineering, starts with determining the criticality of the asset and then deriving from that the criticality of the spare. So we make a connection, and Gordon does that too, of course, between the criticality of the spare and the market availability. So if a spare is really critical, but very hard to get on the market, then you put it on stock. Putting it on stock, in fact, should be the last choice. The best stock is not having a stock at all, right? So yeah, that was my contribution and my reaction to Eduardo. I completely am aligned with you about the insurance policy for reactive organizations. Thank you.
All right, thank you for this remark. And I think it is still a nice bridge to our next video.
Welcome to ECC Workshop Reliability 4.0 in EuroMaintenance. My name is Dr. Eduardo Calixto, ECC founder and CEO. Reliability 4.0 is part of a asset management process starting with RACC, Failure Report and Corrective Action System. The first step is to look on plant reliability map and check the physical asset with ample and red line. That means failure and degradation. Since the FRACC is feeds with historical failure data, the Reliability 4.0 automatic prediction takes place. By doing that, it's possible to produce automatically the reliability graphs as well as the reliability growth graphs. Welcome to ECC workshop Reliability 4.0 in EuroMaintenance.
Chris, we just watched the video from our other guest, Eduardo, and he was talking about Reliability 4.0. Of course, you are a university teacher. Is this a topic that you found development in this concept? Did you see that it is a new task, that that you have more possibilities to really focus on reliability? Can you tell us something about this?
Well, for sure. Well, within the Ministry of Defense where I'm working, which is probably a different sector than Eduardo built most of his expertise, but we recognize similar kind of trends. And up till a few years ago, we mainly had ERP kind of systems from which we collected our facts, and that is basically literature produced by mechanics. So it are human perceptions aggregated into KPIs. And what we see in weapon systems that they are increasingly becoming intelligent. We get a lot of sensor recordings, and this kind of information, if we integrate that cloud intelligently, we can arrive at much better decisions. We recognize much more patterns in operating behavior, in system behavior, in the widest sense. We can use it for training purposes, and we see huge developments there, particularly in getting more smart. So yes, I entirely recognize this kind of developments.
Well, that's great to hear, Chris, I must say, but it's a shame that it happens now, because I joined the Netherlands Navy for about 10 years, but that was between 88 and 98, so that was a former century. But at this time, we on a yearly basis, we perform a predictive maintenance study, in fact, with PricewaterhouseCoopers. So the report is here. And I want to highlight a case in there because I think it's a very innovative case. It's the Cijtec case. And Cijtec is a company in the south of the Netherlands that serves maintenance and asset management services, different chemical sites there. And they have introduced the Asset Health Center. It's really amazing what you can see there. I think it's one of the top, let's say, predictive maintenance technology centers in the Netherlands or in Europe, where all the sensor data, the environmental data, the sensor data from the equipment is coming together. And then people are interpreting based on the graphs they see what needs to be done and what, let's say, failure might occur to predict it and prevent it from happening. And in the end, it's a nice thing when you get there, it's all related to people who interpret the data. So there's a lot of technology, but in the end, it's about the people. So, well, come to this case of Eduardo, but also be aware of Cijtec. Big, let's say, innovative achievement, I would say, in the Netherlands.
Okay, Eduardo, I would like to ask you to respond.
Yeah. I just would like to clarify what is the context behind the Reliability 4.0. So the idea is I try to develop is asset management intelligence. So the concept is to easily transform data into information. And concerning reliability calculation, what we see nowadays is that many organizations do not perform the right reliability calculation, and that's lead them to take a wrong conclusion. So that's one aspect. So what I propose as a solution, that we have all the mathematical backgrounds, and the technicians, the engineers don't need a software to make the calculation, get the information, put a PPF in a PPT presentation. Now they have in one solution and they get the information whenever they want. Concerning what Remco mentioned, that's very important. He mentioned about predictive maintenance. And then in the same solution, I did not present the video, but we have Reliability 4.0 and also Prognostic Health Management 4.0. Because the main objective of reliability is in the end to demonstrate if your physical asset equipment achieve what is stated in the warranty. I want that they not failed in 2 years, or I want in 2 years 98% reliability. So they achieve it, yes. But what can happen this way is that the equipment are starting to operate over their design stress limits. For example, high temperature, high vibration, that we see the case. We also have that in our solution. That's the idea behind asset management intelligence to, in this case, predict the remaining useful life when some equipment are operated over the stress limits and the states of health. So you have both easily in all integration, integrating only one system to make easier and faster the process decision.
And Eduardo, if you use this tool, what do you think is the biggest problem? To get the right data, or you need more analyzing skills, or is it a problem that the people need to get used to the new way of working because they are still used to visual inspections? What is the biggest pitfall when you start using a tool like this?
Yeah, I would say the big pitfall is the data, because many companies do not record properly their data. That's why in this tool we also have what we call RACC, is failure reports and corrective action system. That is the process that whenever you have failure or degradation, you can, with a cell phone, record that and put in the system. Then this information concerning reliability, when you have more than 3 failures or degradation, they automatically predict the reliability of the graphs. That's just for the data point of view. If you can ask me the companies that do not have the data or do not have equipment to put as a benchmark for define their performance, we define also reliability database. So based on my experience in oil and gas, I have reliability targets database for different equipment, as well as failure mode and effect analysis database, as well as RCM database, just to support this company that do not have data, or some organizations that do not have experience. So, but again, the data, in my experience, reliability expert is the main issue, and what companies need to focus on, to have a proper system that's starting to collect failure and degradation of the equipment, to use this information.
Okay, I hear you. There's a challenge there. I am going to make a bridge to the next video, because an even greater challenge would be if you are not just focusing on one factory, have a multi-site approach. So you have multi-sites and you want to improve them all. So this is the next video.
Hi, my name is Mark Broekhoven. I'm a senior consultant at MaxQuip and have been working on multi-site deployment programs for the past 20 years. In this workshop, we will be focusing on the deployment of asset performance management processes in an enterprise asset management tool for Van der Lande Industries. The intention of this workshop is to share experiences on setting up and deploying a multi-site program. I see many companies struggle with setting up a multi-site program and being able to deploy this on a wider scale within the company. It is fascinating to see that a tool alone won't bring the benefits. It is the combination of processes, organization, tool and data that will unlock the benefits. The interaction between global and local is key. Clear roles and responsibilities, followed processes, cultural differences and simple things like deciding on global or local funding are things that we will talk about in this workshop. The Van der Lande workshop is intended for everyone that is involved in setting up or executing asset management deployment programs.
Remco, of course, I know you have some experience with a multi-site approach as well. Can you relate to the story Mark Broekhoven is sharing?
Yeah, I can totally relate to what Mark is saying. I recognize a lot, and as a matter of fact, in this stream of asset performance management, I highlight the multi-site approach too. I think he is approaching it more from an enterprise asset management perspective. And right now I'm involved as a program manager in developing a multi-site maintenance and asset management business improvement. And I can share the name of the company. It's Royal Friesland Campina. It's a multinational dairy company. I will, let's say, present it together with one of the business group maintenance managers. They have around 60 sites worldwide, and we support 24 of those sites. So there we work with the trainer principle. But one of the main things in the multi-site approach is sponsorship, of course, from the board to get everything done in time. We're developing a playbook, meaning that we share our knowledge, that we train the people of Friesland Campina in this case, and that they roll out the support of the sites. One other element, and Mark might recognize that too, is that we work with local change agents. So it's good to prepare the strategy centrally, and we also wrote that down in a maintenance and asset management process map. So all the maintenance and asset management processes are described, including the responsibilities and the key performance indicators. But then we do local assessments to determine a local roadmap to improve, because one side could focus on cost, another side could focus on technical availability, right? So they can have a different implementation plan, despite the fact that they use the same process map. And then the support is done by a local change agent. So there's a local project team, and that team is supported by someone coming from central, supporting them locally. So different, let's say, flavors to make it a success. One of the other things I must say, if you determine the scope, you want to have the success as soon as possible, of course. So you should have selection criteria for the first sites to go to. If the plant management is not bought in, don't go to that site. If there are many vacancies, well, that might not be the time for that site to start. So picking the right sites to increase impact by success is crucial in this. So I look forward to the story of Mark, but I would like to ask the people also to come to my story. Thank you very much.
Smart move, Remco. Very well. Chris, you heard Remco say that it is also a very important starting point that management is convinced that there is a program and that there are some things to be gained. Do you teach your pupils, the technicians, and to talk the language of the board?
Well, of course, within the Ministry of Defense, we have a very, different kind of board and probably also a hierarchical structure. And, well, we also have to deal with the tension between doing things central or decentral, because our assets are scattered all over the world, because we also have quite some international operations, and also the performance and requirements that are needed in foreign countries may be entirely different from home-based operations. Just to give an illustration, home-based operations are also training and maintaining the assets are some sort of integrated, because, well, military people also need to be able to do some repairs on their assets, and therefore we actually also have huge training efforts in getting the people the ability to do the repairs eventually off-site. Whereas once we are in a foreign country, the time to repair and the criticality for not having a weapon system available is appreciated entirely differently. So that also means that apart from the vacancy and that kind of structure, also the capabilities on one location may be entirely different than the ones on others. So we also need to be a bit flexible there. So it's not just only hierarchy in the army, it's also local dedication towards circumstances that are, well, required.
What do you think is the most important topic that, for instance, a chemical company or a food and beverage company could learn from defense?
Well, that's a hard question for me to immediately respond to, because learning is ultimately something that comes from the receiver rather than from the university teacher who sends. So, of course, it is primarily to those organizations to decide on what to learn. And well, I guess many developments historically with respect to integrated logistics support or all this kind of labels that may not be entirely known in the civil world, but they are definitely developed within the army and now known in industry as asset management. So we do have a kind of business operation that allows us actually to think really innovative in terms of getting proof of context with respect to virtual reality, with respect to 3D printing, with respect to data analytics, without having the burden to have for next year's return on investment figures immediately something needs to be shown financially. So we have the ability to be sometimes a bit more innovative in really discovering proof of concepts, probably.
Maybe I can respond to that, since I joined both parts, as well as the Navy, as food and chemicals. I wrote down 3 topics. First of all, yes, ILS, integrated logistics support. So logistics in the Ministry of Defense is important for a long time, and offshore companies and also dredging companies, for example, can learn a lot from it. Leadership. But that goes both ways. Planned leadership, but also leadership in the Ministry of Defense. Because oftentimes teams are working in a very complex environment. And then leadership is important. But that's also important in the offshore, in the chemical industry, and in the food industry. And the third topic goes both ways too, because I think they can learn from each other, is teamwork. I see multidisciplinary teams in a factory doing amazing things. But working in Afghanistan with a multidisciplinary team, well, you can learn a lot from that too. So those are my 3 topics. Yeah.
Eduardo, do you want to respond?
Yeah. Just complement what Chris says, because I have a practical experience when I work in a project for Chevron in Indonesia. That's they implement asset management and asset integrity management. And then the gap that was lost was how to translates all the information that came from run reliability and maintenance program from concept design to operation. And the ILS program that is used in aerospace and military is very well defined that. And then I applied also the optimization context to minimize spare, maximize preventive maintenance schedules and predictive maintenance, and that was very successful, and they accept that. So it's a case that I demonstrate that, for example, oil and gas can learn from aerospace and military industry. This ILS is very well defined program and make this link between all the phases very well.
All right. Thank you. Something I hear from all of you, not only in this comment, but the entire round table, is that it is all about the people. Of course, the people are the most important assets of a company. And this is also a introduction to our final movie.
What are the knowledge and skills that maintenance technicians, engineers, managers should have? The aim of this workshop is to answer this question and to present a maintenance body of knowledge. Knowledge and skills are required to act, which means we must start from action to define them. For this, we can use the complete breakdown of maintenance presented in the European standard EN 17007. These standards present 15 processes that concern maintenance management, realization, and support. And these processes are broken down into 100 interrelated actions, which make it possible to identify the maintenance body of knowledge and to draw the maintenance landscape. Looking forward to seeing you to discuss the maintenance body of knowledge.
He was talking about a body of knowledge. So it is all about the organization and the people and the skills they need. Isn't this the most important part of your asset performance management?
Well, for me, it is, I would say, because in the end, it's all about the people, and not even about the economics, but about the people. And there are 2 elements I would like to highlight. When we do the assessments that we do currently in this multi-site program, for example, we always I always check Do you have a skill matrix? Usually the skill matrix is derived from, let's say, also the process map. So what skills are needed to support from a maintenance and asset management perspective this installed base of assets? What skills are needed? Could be reliability engineering skills, but could also be a welding skill or a very another technician skill. So the skill matrix should be available. And from the skill matrix, you map it with the current organization. And you derive the training plan from it. How else do you determine what kind of trainings are needed? And then I make the connection to, if you do not want to train the people, but you do not have the skills inside of in your house, then the next level is outsourcing. So then we connect the skills matrix, mapping it with the internal organization, with the training plan, and with the outsourcing strategy. And there's one element I would like to add, and there the Navy experience comes in again, situational leadership, because it's about skills, but it's also about willing, skilling and willing. And in every improvement program that I support, I'll check that. It's quite easy. Look at your own organization and plot the people in 4 segments. Are they very skilled, very willed? Then the leadership style should be delegating. Let them do the job. If they are not skilled but very willing, you should coach them, right? So you change your leadership style. If they are very skilled but not willing, then you need to sell it to them. You are so experienced. Maybe we really need to have the value of your experience for the younger guys or girls. And then if they're not willing and not skilled, then it's telling. Then you just say, you have to do this or you have to do that. So it's a very simple model to act on a daily basis and to help your people to get the max out of themselves.
All right, thank you. Eduardo, do you want to add a short comment, because I want to round up this round table?
I know the work for Antoine is what he's trying to do is to define this process of necessary knowledge and also define all the topics that needed for a very good maintenance project. But what I would like to complement here is the challenge that we have concerning people nowadays in our organization. Because previously we spoke about multi-site programs, for example, and that's take time. Even one site takes time to implement asset management. And nowadays what's happened is different from 10, 20 years ago, that people are constantly moving from one company to the other. So for companies retain this knowledge inside is very challenging. So the first point that we need to aware, and this is a very challenge for some programs that request more knowledge and more time, such as reliability or logistics integrated support. And that's one point that I would like to highlight here. That's this challenge the organization has, that's in the same time that need to provide knowledge to people and retain these people. These people are not like in the past that stay longer than 20 years. Another aspect, that's young generation are not the ones that have physical contact. They're not the ones that they have a virtual learning process. So they see the world totally virtual. They do not go in the fields. They don't want to get in touch with equipment and so on. That's the second big challenge for this learning process. Because in the end of the day, we have here Mr. Remco, that's older than us as an engineer. He has he saw probably all the process from the beginning to nowadays artificial intelligence and new technology. But the young engineers and young people that's working now, they see the world virtually. How to train these people and keep them engaged. So that's a big challenge for, in the end, to implement asset management.
All right, thank you. Chris, some final words?
Well, we started off this discussion with value, and values by themselves are entirely subjective. So each of us is free to choose own values, but in order for an organization to function, we need to align values. So we need to get and develop shared values, and we have seen a variety of contributions that try to do it within a company. And what EF&MS has been doing is across companies. And also we have several working groups that develop standards to at least create a reference that everyone can refer to create some sort of a common language. And well, Antoine is one of the people who has worked already for many years in this endeavor, and I really appreciate him for that.
Thank you very much. All right, this concludes this round table. We saw 5 pitches, But of course, we have a lot more workshops at EuroMaintenance 2021. So this was just an introduction, and you heard our experts being very enthusiastic about the topics, about the pitches that were presented, about the coming workshops. So I really do invite you to go to the website first and subscribe to EuroMaintenance 2021. The website is www.euromaintenance.net. So that is .net. And we would like to really invite you there and be happy to see you all. Finally, I would like to thank my guests, Eduardo Calixto, Remco Jonker, and Chris Rijsdijk. Thank you very much for participating in this roundtable, and hopefully we will see you as well at EuroMaintenance. And I want to end this roundtable the way I started, in several languages. I say arrivederci, au revoir, tot ziens, and to make it really fit to the conversation we had, salut.
Oh, I like that. Thank you very much, Laura, for moderating and managing us properly. Thank you very much. See you at EuroMaintenance.
See you. Bye-bye.